Hi everybody, it's, I don't have my watch on, but it's like 11 a.m. on July 14th. I'm filming this video, and the reason I'm filming this video is, there was a comment on my last video I uploaded talking about how my nephew had passed away, and everything. And in the video, in the comment, somebody was like, please just make a video, to make sure you're okay. I am okay, as much as you can be, with how much I've, in the last year, lost. And I can tell you that in the last year, it's been rough. The grieving process for me has been ongoing since March of 2024. In March 2024, my uncle passed away after a 3-year-long battle with prostate cancer. My best friend was pregnant at the time, and in June of last year I threw a gender reveal because I was the keeper of the gender, and we found out it was a boy, and we were so excited. You know what I mean? We were so excited. In September he was born, and I made videos talking about that, and in October my great nephew passed away at a month and 3 days old. Five days after my nephew passed away, my great nephew, my great grandpa passed away from cancer. So I found out on a Friday at my nephew's funeral that my grandpa died, and by the next Wednesday I was burying my grandpa. By October, I was very done. I was like, oh my god, how much more can I lose? This is ridiculous. My cat of 16 years, I had a cat for 16 years, she was my best friend. I went and got her paw print tattooed because she was when I say my best friend, I mean it. She'd come to bed with me every night. She'd sleep in my bed with me. She was my buddy. I'd had her since I was like 3 or 4 years old. Like, keep in mind I was 21 when she passed, so if I was 3 or 4 when I had her, like that's such a long time to have a cat, She passed away right before Christmas, and that was devastating for me. And then around the same time I found out my grandpa has colon cancer. I remember that might be what it is. I think it's colon cancer. It's been forever since I actually asked. And that's going great. He's doing all the treatment, he's doing his regular checkups, everything. In March of this year, my aunt died exactly a year from her husband, which was my uncle who passed away last year. They died a year exactly apart, and that was in March. And I was like, oh my god, I'm like, this is ridiculous, like, this is way too much. And that was at the end of March. And at her funeral, I can tell you this, I remember sitting at her funeral, and my nephew, who passed away in April, I could see the back of his head because he sat in front of me in the pews, and I could just see him. I can see him in his flannel. And that's sad, because if you had told me that a month later we'd be filing a missing persons report on him because he hadn't been home in 3 days, I would have never believed you. And I'm making this video and I'm being vulnerable and I'm crying because my nephew turned 25 in March. My nephew had not been 25 for a month by the time he had died. My nephew walked out of this house on April 25th. He went out to my dad's Yukon that he was driving to get a box of food that my nephew's dad had given to him to give to his brother who lived down the street from us. He grabbed that box of food and he walked down to his brother's house, and he knocked on the door, he handed him the food, and his brother said, hey, you should get home, it's getting ready to rain. The last time my nephew's brother saw him, he went, yeah, I'm gonna head back now. And he started walking back here. He never made it back here. And I'm being vulnerable because I'm 21. I just want to say that I'm 21, and in my 21 years, almost 22 years of my life, never did I think I'd have to make a missing persons report and then the next day be told that that person was dead. I have researched so many cases. I have read about so many cases that I'd love to cover. I just don't have the time to right now because of work, school, and life in general. Where people have had that happen, where they've made the missing persons report and within just a day or two they find out that that person is dead. And that's terrifying because of how my nephew's case has now ended. When you make a missing persons report, I was not home when my nephew left, but my mom was the last person to see him in this house. My nephew left the house wearing a snapback hat, a hoodie, and jeans, in his Converse that he had not had for a year. He left with his phone, his wallet, and his gun. And I'm being vulnerable, and I'm saying this because you can tell by the time that we made this missing persons report and we said what he had on him, that the cop's first initial reaction was he depressed? Was he suicidal? Was he this? Was he that? My nephew lived here with me and my parents and my other nephew. And all four of us immediately were like, no, he was himself. There was no difference. There was no difference in who my nephew was. He had been the same person his whole life. He was stupid, and he was goofy, and he was loving, and he was caring. And he was just overall an amazing person. And we told the cop that, and the cop was like, okay, I have to ask these questions because he left here with a gun. We had a search party for him the next day on the 28th of April. I left work early. I explained to my work, I work at a school. I went into the office and said, I need the afternoon off. I said, if you can't give me the afternoon off, that's fine. But I would like for you to really try because we're having a search party for my nephew who went missing this weekend. And she was like, you know what, I'll try. And luckily we got a sub for me. And I left and came home. They used one of those drones. I was like, well, that's not called a plane, a drone. They couldn't find him. So they called in a search and rescue dog. Yeah, I think that's what she was. Beautiful bloodhound. She was gorgeous. She was here for maybe 25 minutes. And the way that she took him, she started down the road, like by a driveway. Keep in mind, this is 3 days after my nephew left the house. Started the driveway, came into the front yard. Went down our street, down this street, down 2nd Street. It was a straight shot down 2nd Street to where he was found. And because of how the dog went and how the dog came back into the yard, I do believe that my nephew came home, came to the front door, and somebody got his attention. And everyone's probably like, well, where were your mom and dad at? They were in the kitchen of our house, and from the kitchen, you can't see the front yard. Somebody, we believe, got my nephew's attention, and he left here with them. And never again have we seen him. And because it was so quick and so not what we expected, it was hard. And for me, especially, grieving is just something I've always had trouble with. And I don't know if anybody else has ever had a situation where you've been told that somebody's dead by a cop. every day I can hear that cop's words in my head. He came back in his cop car and he had that face, and we all knew, and we all stood up, we all looked at him, and these are the words that came out of his mouth. We found a male, 25, deceased. It's the worst pain I've ever had to hear, is those words. Do you know how hard it is to explain to the kids of the family, JD's not coming back. JD is dead. And, I found his little card thing for the funeral, which I don't think I signed his funeral book now that I think about it, but that's fine. I found this, and the reason that it broke my heart is because he was born on March 27th, 2000, and his death day is the day we found him dead. We're all pretty sure that he died the Friday he left here, which is the 25th. Hence why I said he wasn't even 25 for a month. And I didn't read this when I got it. I grabbed it because it's a keepsake from his funeral. As if I didn't get, you know, the little thing that says nephew from his little flowers. As if we don't have flowers and wind chimes and pretties from people who donated them to our family. But I never read this. I mean, I read, of course, you know, the name, his date, the dates, and where he was buried, and who was gonna be his pallbearers, because I'd never read his thing, the little poem they put in here. I wanted to read it with you guys. Afterglow. I'd like the memory of me to be a happy one. I'd like to leave an afterglow of smiles when life is done. I'd like to leave an echo whispering softly down the ways of happy times and laughing times and bright and sunny days. I'd like the tears of those who grieve to dry before the sun of happy memories that I leave when life is done. That was definitely my nephew. But to wrap this video up, I'm fine. As fine as I can be. I'm not depressed. I'm not suicidal. I'm not any of those. If anything, I'm angry. I think I finally entered, and I was thinking this the other day, I was like, I finally entered the part of the, you know, the 7 stages of grief where I'm angry. You know, we were painting my best friend's house. My nephew was 6'5". I'm 5'5". He was a whole foot taller than me, and I'm painting my niece's house, and I'm trying to get up on the ceiling on the crack. And the first words out of my mouth were, I'm so mad at JD. I'm so mad at him because he's not here. I'm mad at him because he's not here to celebrate birthdays anymore. The last birthday he was here to celebrate, sadly, was his mom's, who passed away a few years ago. But the last person's birthday he was here to celebrate and be alive for was his own. And that's the sad thing. That's the sad thing. But I finally entered the I'm mad at him stage, which is sad to say, but it is. I'm mad because he won't be here for my next birthday. He won't be here for Christmas or Thanksgiving. And like, we just had our first big holiday without him, which was the 4th. And his favorite holiday was the 4th. Don't get me wrong, he loved all holidays because of food, but like the 4th got to blow things up, and he was definitely a pyromaniac. And I have a whole video on the 4th that I need to edit and get out, but I wanted to get this out first because that comment really sparked that I haven't posted a video in 2 months. I've tried, I've filmed videos, I have filmed this video at least 500-600 times, but every time I break down and I get mad because the cop who's working my nephew's case is a dick. He won't do his job. And I'm mad because my nephew did not walk out of this house on April 25th and go and put a bullet in his head. There's just no way. And I know people are gonna be like, well, you're just being biased. You lived with him. You didn't see the signs. Because there were no signs. My nephew was the same person from the day he was born till the day he died. He was the same. There was no difference in his personality. There was nothing. My nephew had just got promoted at work. He had a relationship. He was happy. He was finally like doing things in life that made him happy. He was finally like, I'm in a spot where I'm happy and I'm not mad that I live with my grandparents or I don't have my own vehicle or this or that. He was finally content. And the fact that there are people who think he wasn't because of something he said in one video, or, you know, maybe he was slightly different. Well, guess what? My nephew's sleep schedule was shit. He'd be up till like 4 o'clock in the morning and get up at 6 to go to work. What? But because I've made this video so many times and I've been so angry at the cop, I'm like, I can't post that. And I'm posting this because I'm going to be serious, I'm going to be honest, and I hope you stay and watch the whole video because I hope you do. And I'm sorry I've been gone for so long. I do have I have a true crime video and another video that I might not even upload, but they're both filmed the same day, and they were both filmed in early April. And in one of the videos, I know that you can hear my nephew opening his bedroom door and him walking in, and I'm pretty sure he's talking as he walks in, and considering that there's holes all up and down that wall out of our stairs, you can hear his voice. And I'm not sure if I'm ready to edit the video. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if I'm ready to see him because, you know, going through my Snapchat memories, I've been getting videos of him and pictures of him, and it makes me so mad because he's not here. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I promise I will try and get videos up. I know that my next video will be the 4th of July video. I just gotta get to editing, and yeah, but I hope you guys stayed and you watched the whole video and you don't have anything shitty to say in the comments, because if so, I'm deleting your comment. Simple as that. Simple as that. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. I promise. I swear. I'm gonna try to get back on a schedule, but considering that in the last year I've had a lot of shit happen, grief-wise, I think you can understand why I haven't uploaded as frequently as I was a year ago at this time. So